Okay, so I get interrupted a lot because of the situation of taking care of someone with dementia. Anyways, I'm pulling one for, this is the full wolf moon in Leo. And so yeah, I'm going to pull one from Animal Spirit. Okay, perfect. So I pulled the wolf. That's so great. I love this deck already. Like right away when I started pulling from it, I'm like, oh my god, this deck is like right on. But okay, so the wolf, it speaks to this sort of pack energy, and like the wolf is like is part of a tribe, and so it speaks to having like respect and reverence for working together as part of a larger community, because this is like a pack animal. And so the wolf energy speaks to, it's really interesting because I feel like this really goes along with the times that we're in, but it's speaking to like a coming together and sort of having tolerance for everyone, even if you don't necessarily agree with what they have to say. I mean, the thing about wolf, it can get bent out of shape when you're expecting everyone to be on the same page. And just because you're part of a pack doesn't mean that you always have to agree. Like you're not always going to agree with your family or everyone around you about everything, but to be able to have tolerance for that, and to be able to like work together despite that, is kind of the energy, you know. I mean, I think that's like a beautiful thing of having a pack, you know, because it's just like everyone has different skills that they bring to the community, and having the different perspectives actually benefits, you know, because that kind of like broadens the wisdom of the whole group. Even if you don't always see things the same way, I mean, that's actually a good thing because it leads to diversity. So that's an interesting message to come through for this full wolf moon, because the I'm going now to the Radiant Wise Spirit to pick the readings leading up to this moon have been really interesting. You know, it's speaking to like this line in the sand, and like this great reckoning happening, and a changing of the guard, you know. So these are readings that have been coming up. You know, there's obviously been a lot of drama and tumult happening in our world, and so it kind of makes sense. But I think this is like a moment of huge, profound change. Okay, so at the bottom of the deck, I got the Ten of Swords. So this is a card, and it's an end to suffering, and it's sort of, I mean, right before like this new beginning, but the old way and all the suffering and all the divisiveness and all the cruelty and all the things that aren't working, like that's going away. Like it's going into a trash heap, and we're gonna let it go, and we're starting over, you know. So this is kind of like hitting rock bottom. So that's really interesting because you know, I mean, I feel like that makes sense. There's been just, I mean, all the readings leading up to this have been all about this big, huge, I mean, really it's speaking to like a huge, profound change that's happening. Okay, so, but the cards coming after this actually are a lot more positive and uplifting. So we got the Star, Ten of Cups, the Hermit, the Hierophant, and the Ace of Pentacles. So this is actually really good because this really speaks to like a new beginning, you know, that's really positive. I mean, this is a card of wishes coming true. It's a card of healing, you know, profound healing that's happening, you know. So it's just like, you know, I think in our world there's been like a lot of ugliness that has like been bubbling up and coming to the surface. And, you know, part of healing that is that we have to acknowledge it, you know. I mean, we have to get to this point, you know, instead of kind of like walking on eggshells and like walking around it. Like, it's like sometimes it just has to come out, come to the surface, you know, so that it can be healed, so that we can let it go. But then this speaks to this great potential, you know. This is like happiness, abundance, and this like a emotional fulfillment. You know, there's this family like dancing and things are good, you know. And we have the Hermit, you know, so this is taking a spiritual quest and really just sort of like solidifying, you know, like your values and like why we're here, you know. Like, we're really kind of like honing in on that, you know. And out of that, we're having this like new institution that's like bubbling up to the surface from all of this. I mean, this speaks to like institution, you know. And I think for sure, I think there's a lot of evaluation that's going on right now. I mean, in our larger world, about like institutions not necessarily how they've been working for us anymore, and how are we going to sort of recalibrate this going forward so that it is going to work, you know. And then from that, we have the Ace of Pentacles. So this is like a new beginning, and it's like a new opportunity. It's like a tangible new beginning that's starting to emerge. So it's like, I'm getting from this rock bottom that there's like, you know, there's been this great reckoning. There's this changing of the guard. Like, there's almost like this new, it's like a moment of awakening. Like, we're starting to see this new path forward, you know. So, and that message kind of speaks through the other decks that have like come through too, you know. And it's like, there's a new path forward. We're gonna have to work together, you know, in order to get there, you know. And we have, okay, I'm going to the Urban Tarot now. At the bottom we have luxury, and I think this is a sort of cautionary tale about complacency, you know, because it's like we've got spilled milk here, and you know, it's almost like we've gotten a little bit too comfortable sitting on the couch, like playing armchair quarterback, like watching the world pass us by on TV, you know. And it's just like, there's milk spilled on the table, but there's still a glass here, you know. I mean, like, there's a lot of potential that's left, you know, and we need to harness that, you know, moving forward, you know. And so we have the Empress. So this is a birth of something new, like a new beginning. We have completion, which is like, here it's like a graduation, like a moment of graduation. So it's like we're leaving the past behind. We have change, like things are changing. This is so crazy. We have the Eon, which is the card of this karmic reckoning. And we have science, which this is a card of moving on from a bad situation to a better situation. And it's also got this snake here, this kundalini energy, like rising. Like, this speaks to an awakening. So it's just like, all these cards are kind of like pointing to this similar message, you know, like there's this new awakening, there's this karmic reckoning that's happening, and it's leading to this new awakening, you know. Like, there's been some loss. We've hit rock bottom. The milk's been spilled. But out of that is this new beginning that's bubbling up. And then when I go to the Mystical Shaman Oracle, the crazy, at the bottom we have the serpent. So again, another card of this Kundalini energy, this Kundalini awakening, this empowerment of like bubbling up of this energy from this place of sort of like rock bottom. We have the wind, which speaks of change. We have the Andean cross. This is a card of, this is a portal. This is a doorway of walking from one stage of life to the next, you know, and this is the moment where we walk through the door, you know. And it fell right on top of this graduation card, which I think is really interesting. And we're going on a journey. Like, we're going to have to step outside of our comfort zone, you know, and into the unknown, you know, beyond how things have gone before. You know, these institutional structures that we've, like, relied on are changing. And the next card we have is completion. So again, like, this message is really coming through that this is the end of the era, an era, but the beginning of a new era, you know. There's been this huge reckoning, and we're moving on from a bad situation to a better situation, but we have this blessing. We have this promise. And then the last card we have is standstill. So it's just like there's all this fire and destruction happening outside, and it's just like this person is sort of taking this moment to themselves to sort of like come into alignment and be in alignment with this moment. It's like crazy. Like, this really is, like, this full moon is this moment where things are going to change. And it's like, I feel like there's this, you know, it's like another Beatles song, come together right now, you know, that song. But it's like weird because I feel like in the last song where I brutalized the Beatles song, it was like everything was all red. But in this reading, it's like there's all this yellow, you know, which is like this happiness, like abundance. It's like the sun. Hold on a minute. So yeah, you can see like all this yellow. They call me mellow yellow. It's like all yellow. I'm going to pull, since it is the wolf moon, I'm going to pull a moon card from the Queen of the Moon Oracle deck, but this definitely looks like a huge turning point, and it's just sort of like, you know, we've gone through, I mean, for a long time, I think there's been a lot of divisiveness that's been happening, and it's just like, I feel like we've kind of reached the end of the road where it's just like, we can't go forward that way, you know? And it's like, we're going to have to listen to each other, and we're going to have to figure out why there's this breakdown, you know, because we can't go forward this way. And that doesn't mean we have to agree. It just means that we have to be able to listen to each other and hear the other person, you know. And that's what's going to have to happen. Okay, pull one. Oh, there we go. All right. So at the bottom we have change, thunder moon. So obviously things are changing. We have action. We have surrender. And we have growth. So it's just like we're going to have to figure out, you know, where the breakdown is in order to move forward, in order to grow. Because, like, if we're just at this impasse and we're just stuck there, there's, like, no movement forward. And we can't do that anymore. So, I think that's how we're gonna push through. We're going to have to understand. And we're going to have to agree to disagree. And that's how we're going to have to move forward. But that's a good thing. I mean, I think it's definite progress. And there's signs of movement here. And there's a new world emerging, awakening. So, best of luck. We'll see you soon.